And, you know, Wolf, you could argue that the White House may have been guilty of jumping to conclusions about who was responsible. They tried to brush it off at first by arguing that this was just limited to IRS employees in the Cincinnati office. It's now abundantly clear that's not true. Washington headquarters was engaged. But this is really the important point. So far, these are Washington bureaucrats, not Obama political operatives.
Good explanation, Dana. Thanks very much. Let's get a little bit more right now with our chief political correspondent, the anchor of State of the Union, Candy Crowley, and Zeke Miller, political reporter for our corporate cousin, Time Magazine. Let me play the clip. This is the President of the United States speaking out on those so-called phony scandals.
Free checkups and cheaper medicine on Medicare, so they don't think that's a problem. The point is, with an endless distraction of political posturing and phony scandals and Lord knows what, Washington keeps taking its eye off the ball.
All right, so he's trying to deflect right now. That's why he's launched these series of speeches today, earlier in the week. He's going to be doing a whole bunch more. Can he succeed in getting away from these, what he calls these phony scandals?
Well, it depends on what he's talking about. I mean, and what is he talking about? He's talking about the IRS, that were legitimate questions. Is he talking about Benghazi? Legitimate questions. Is he talking about following reporters who have sources and trying to find out? Legitimate questions. But this is a good way to say, don't pay any attention to all of these things that really have hurt him and eaten into his poll numbers. And so we're seeing the president under 50%. I can't remember, 47 around there the last time we saw him. And he needs to get back out there and build them up because he's got great big old fights coming up in September about the budget.
Because his suggestion, the impression is, you know what, let's not worry about all these silly side issues, if you will. We've got major economic issues affecting the middle class, poor Americans. We have to focus in like a laser beam on the economy.
Exactly. I mean, that's what the message he's trying to convey to the American people while members of Congress, certainly while they've been pushing the economic message, you know, for years now, they've also run into trouble. You know, they've been trying to use these scandals as a way to hurt the president, undermine his credibility, try to drive those poll numbers down, to weaken him for the fights in September. So as the president wants to stop talking about them, House Republicans certainly want to keep talking about them, and that's going to be you know, sort of a problem for him going forward.
Can he succeed? You know, you and I, Candy, we've seen presidents try to move away from a specific scandal or whatever it's called, an uproar at one point, trying to focus in on other issues. What do you think? What are the prospects of him over the next few weeks and months getting on his agenda as opposed to the Republicans, the critics' agenda?
They have to turn to the economy come September 30th because that's when the fiscal year expires, and they're supposed to have new bills, which they haven't had for years, but new bills that'll fund the departments, et cetera. But I think you know, that's the short run of what the president's trying to do. I mean, right now, he's trying to kind of set that table for himself so when those arguments come up. The longer range thing is this is about the midterms. This is about next year. This is about saying I could do so much except for I've got this House that's filled with Republicans, and what I really need is a Democratic House because then I can move forward. So there's the short-term thing, September 30th. There's the long-term thing, November of 2014.
He's got major issues right now he's got to deal with. What do you think of that strategy?
I mean, I think it's even bigger than the midterms. It's about the entire second term. We've seen the president try to set himself right for the legacy 20 years, 30 years down the line from the climate change in the inaugural address.
But he can't do that legacy without a Democratic House, so it all kind of...
Or at least he's on the right side of the issue, and I think that's a lot of what we're seeing here is the attempt to sort of say all of the right things, even if he knows he can't do them. And so that when people look back, when they write the histories in 30 years, that they're going to be putting him on the right side and try to rank him pretty high up on the list of best presidents. And I think that's what he's shooting for right now.
Guys, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.